Holloway and Kyle Lanunziata in 27th and 28th. Top 30 rounded out by Cameron Guth and Sean Condon. Jarrett Page Jarrett Page does start in 31st. Took him a couple of moments to get onto the grid. And Chris Benedetto, unfortunately, was present in practice, but did not set a time in qualifying. He will not be taking to the start for this race. So we have 31 drivers getting ready to go here. And hello, DJ Alessandrini is in a Mustang.
Oh, that's different. He's usually stolen the Porsche, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to apologize very quickly in just a second here, as DJ Alessandrini does indeed get this race underway here at Mid-Ohio. And you can already see battles happening further back. Franz Hansen now already down one position. Raul Ariati has managed to sneak up a one spot as well. Mike Leader there applying a good amount of pressure to the back of that Porsche, but further back in the field, ladies and gentlemen, Thomas Lafrob, he narrowly dodged an incident there as Michael Mortello is getting absolutely snowballed right now.
Chris Heidemann in the black Porsche there. He went off in a big way on the entry to turn 2, and that re-entry could have been disastrous for everybody, but somehow they managed to avoid the worst of it. That is crazy here at the start. But Chris Heidemann will get back going by some miracle. I think everyone's going to be counting their lucky stars in the midfield there. Franz Hansen has fallen to 3rd. Raul Iriarte now takes the runner-up position. It's still Caymans in the top 3, but very interesting to see that DJ Alessandrini is not in a Cayman anymore. Was this an erroneous car choice or an intentional one?
Well, certainly the Mustang has indeed been very dominant in the GT4 field so far, but I think it's going to be the last we're going to see of DJ Alessandrini for now, as right now Mike Leader is really on the back, applying all of the pressures here. Well, it may indeed be precious. All of the pressure here to Franz Hansen. But very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, we will apologize about the stream. Take a little bit extra to go live. I had hit the button and apparently YouTube hadn't quite processed that, but thank you for flagging it in the chat for me. We do apologize about that delay.
We do indeed. Yes, sometimes in this job you can have technology not cooperate with you. So thank you very much for letting us know. On board with Ken Housel, 5th place at the moment, trying to get his way past Mike Leader. Gap opens to the inside and contact, and Leader gets slid wide. Housel's going to continue on from that. I wonder if Leader is going to protest that move. Went a bit wide in the hairpin, yes, but it looked like he was forced wide a little bit there by Ken Housel. Fortunately, no further damage from that. He didn't spin, he didn't fall too far down the order, so he has a chance to fight back. Has to find his way past Zach Rubin first.
Well, we're going to have to make sure we give Ken Housel the benefit of the doubt, as his wife, Amy Housel, has just appeared in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. And right now, it's going to be Zach Rubin, though, who's going to get to play with Mike Leader. This is indeed, actually, Zach Rubin, he's up 5 positions, but I have a feeling there's been a major incident further back in the field. I am seeing multiple crash warnings here, ladies and gentlemen, at Mid-Ohio.
Sadiq. Yeah, Sadiq, I think, is the one we should look at the most. He's the one who fell down the order in a big way. He actually spun ahead of the rest of the field coming through this hairpin turn. Zach Rubin, meanwhile, problem for him? Question mark.
There you go.
Well, here's Talha Sadiq, and man, I gotta say, what's about to happen is a very lucky escape for Chris Harp, who just escapes off the grass there. Spun in front of the field there is Talha Sadiq, and it looks like that might have caused a little bit of chaos for the drivers who found their way around him there. Yeah, quite difficult goings on there. It's very easy to lose the rear end in those turns.
Well, let's try and take a quick look here. Before you
Sorry,
get
Trenton McMillian's crashed. Oh, yes, yes, this start incident.
Yeah, here's what happened to Michael Montello. You see things get a little bit sideways, hard on the brakes, and absolute chaos there. Trying to get out of the way. You can see actually McMillian there in the background, and you can see just trying to get back and get going again. But ladies and gentlemen, that definitely could have been a lot worse.
It certainly could have, and I mean, I would love to see an onboard from the car that just avoided those two cars. I understand that might be a bit difficult for you to do, Zippy, with the way replays are triggered, but Yeah, that was a very lucky escape for everybody. That could have been a massive pile-up. But yeah, Trenton McMillian has somehow found the wall and has lost his front bumper. He's also still touring around the circuit, though highly damaged. It looks like we have tows from Chris Heidemann and Jason Rode. Both of them have retired from the race. There's McMillian's Mustang minus the front bumper. But yeah, this is... well, that doesn't sound good. What happened to Chris Harp here?
Well, definitely there's been a lot of incidents happening so far at Mid-Ohio, and the grip appears to be one of them. As you see, Chris Hart goes around. Wally gets hard on the brakes, did a great job to avoid that incident, and the BMW, sadly, not quite as lucky there. Mid-Ohio definitely not going to be on the Princess Approved track list for quite a few of these drivers, it seems, but let's try and catch some of the battles now. It looks like John Holloway has got Thomas Laprop right behind him. Laprop currently down 13 positions, looking to try and make his way back up through the field.
Indeed, Lathrop is currently down there in 21st position, and it looks to me like, down 14 places or 13 places, which is crazy. Have a look at how confident he is on the brakes, though, right up the inside of John Holloway there, and manages to get himself back into 20th place. Oh, dear. Who is that? That is Jack Chrissy. Okay, we were just following him for a few moments before that. That's far from ideal there for Jack.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed going to return to a little bit further up through the field. It looks like Cooper Van Horn is indeed leading a hornet of cars right behind him now. As you can see, himself, Zach Rubin, Anthony Montello, both Montello brothers present this evening, Colin Danner, Mike Not the Dentist leader, Jake King, and indeed Reed Shannonbrook, all fighting for P5. Yeah,
this is a great battle pack. They've also got the fight for P3 up ahead of them with Franz Hansen and Ken Housel involved in that. Let's see if Cooper Van Horn can hold off the charge of Zach Rubin here in the number 7 BMW. See, especially from external views, the difference in profile of these two cars. The BMW towers over the Porsche Cayman, but thanks to balance of performance, they are very competitive with each other. And Rubin's all over the back of him here in this SS section. But the Cayman is famously quite an agile car. It enjoys these twisty circuits.
Yeah, certainly myself, I've always got on quite well with the Cayman. Certainly the old BMW GT4 car, I always struggled with the brakes. It honestly felt like they were made of wood, and not good wood at that. I'd say maybe a bit of balsa or something. You had to stamp on the thing, and you didn't really get the you didn't really get the braking effort that you were looking for. But right now, Rubin very close there, got it under 0.2 of a second just there. But right now, it looks like Montello is going to try and get in on the action as well.
Yeah. Now the question is, how do you attempt the pass? How do you even make it at a circuit like this? It's twisty as all get out, and the only clear overtaking opportunity is coming into those switchbacks in the middle part of the lap. A little bit wide on the exit, or was it for Cooper Van Horn, or was it a little bit narrow for Zach Rubin, who gets rear-ended? Anthony Montello charges in there. It looked like it was a little bit compromised there for Cooper Van Horn. He is now lost. No, wait, he hasn't lost position. That's Charles Miller. The lap car is in the middle of it all. And, well, that brings things to a bit of a split in that battle for 5th place. Cooper Van Horn's gotten away from them all now.
Yeah, good job by Cooper. He's going to want to see more people fight a battle alongside him. It's Jack Chrissy looking to try and make up another couple of spots there. Will Long is going to be on the outside. Can the Mustang get it done on the straightaway before they take it to the right-hander?
Yeah, Chrissy gets up the inside and manages to cover off the line before they get into the hard left across the top of the hill. This is a fantastic circuit to watch cars go around, and a fantastic circuit to hot lap as well if you're interested in it. Smoke ahead. I'm not sure who that's for. Oh dear. It's not for position.
Left car.
Okay. Yep, just avoiding him there in the background. I think that might be, it's either Jason Rode or Sean Condon. Charles Miller, they've already made their way past. Okay, yeah, it's not Condon. It's a black Porsche, so yeah,
That one.
we'll wait for the identity of that. It is Charles Miller. Okay. I think he has a different livery on my end. Lewis Alessi, meanwhile, just made up 2 positions. Cooper Van Horn is still managing to hold on to 5th place, but now he is joined by Colin Denner and Mike Leader. It looks like Colin Denner's made a car change as well. He is now in the Mercedes. I'm got used to seeing him in a Mustang.
I'm just thinking as well, the Haribo livery has indeed returned. So good to see the WDCR guys almost having a little bit of heritage amongst themselves right now, as further back, Jake King going at it here with Anthony Montello as he gets the move done. It is indeed Mustang versus Porsche. Don't get me wrong, I love the livery on that Porsche. Loving the gold, loving the red stripe. And right now, it looks like Reed Shannonbrook looking to try and get in, try and make it free wide. Thinks better of it, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be a absolute fantastic camera car, though, for this amazing battle happening. Almost contact again. Are we going to see free wide? Free wide!
God!
Is he going to end in tears? No, they managed to keep it going, but absolutely, oh my gosh.
Woo!
It isn't over.
Love it. This is fantastic. Oh, wow. And Reed Shannonbrook, pushes wide and then allows Montello and King back through. Montello now up the inside of King at the final corner. What a fantastic fight that was. Brilliant stuff.
I gotta say, that definitely was not what we were expecting here, ladies and gentlemen. Free wide through there. It's fair to say it was a pretty baller move, but we're gonna check in a little bit further up as it looks like Cooper Van Horn is once again having to be on the defense. He's got Colin Denner right behind the Haribo man himself, and Mike, not the dentist leader. All of these guys fighting for P5. Ken Howell about 4 seconds ahead of this pack.
Yeah, keeping in mind, of course, that Mike Leader was battling with Ken Housel at the start of the race, but after that contact between them, he's trying now to work his way back up. He'll be catching some slipstream off the Mercedes of Denner, and a little bit of psychological games there from Denner as well. He's trying to unsettle Cooper Van Horn in the braking zone by moving around just a little bit, but Mike Leader's having none of it. He's going to try and make his way past here, but passing opportunities few and far between here. It is follow the leader for the most part. If there's a mistake from the car ahead, though, it is game on. And you notice the difference in lines across the top of the hill there. The Merc of Colin Denner was running a little bit more shallow on the exit than Cooper Van Horn. That induced a little bit of understeer for him. So I think understeer is your biggest enemy at Mid-Ohio. It's a track where you need a car that rotates well.
Well, in that scenario, I would expect the Mercedes to honestly be a severe disadvantage, but probably one of the better sounding GT4 cars, in my opinion. The thing is, I don't know why we say it sounds like a sledgehammer. A sledgehammer sounds nothing like it, but it has that kind of absolutely raw, powerful, uncompromising sound, and certainly I'm a big fan, ladies and gentlemen, as indeed we've got more battles happening further back here, as Anthony Montello is still trying to battle here with Jake King, and Reed Shannonbrook has caught back up to him 0.7 of a second in this Rexy-inspired livery.
Yes, so let's see if Shannonbrook is successful in getting past the both of these guys this time. It's a fantastic variety of machinery in the GT4 class. That Mercedes running a bi-turbo V8 engine. The Ford Mustang in the middle of your frame, a naturally aspirated V8. It's as American as they come. Porsche Cayman, meanwhile, a horizontally opposed Boxer 4-cylinder powering that machine, and I believe there's a turbocharger hitched onto that as well. So these cars make their power in very different ways. They have very different chassis configurations as well, but they somehow all come together to create a fantastic class of racing. And no matter who you are, no matter where you come from, no matter what cars you're into, I think you have a manufacturer to support in GT4. But it is more about the teams and the drivers than the manufacturers. Jake King here is now stuck in the middle of the Cayman sandwich. He's like a hot dog between two slices of pumpernickel right now. Cooper Van Horn, meanwhile, getting chased by his fellow German machine. Looks like Denner is trying his best here to make up some time in the mid-corner. He rides the curb nicely in turn one. Now they got to negotiate that S. I think some drivers would have been hoping it was the straight run to the keyhole, because that would have been a clear overtaking opportunity, but no, they will have to work their way through that S-bend section and make the keyhole just a little bit tighter there. It's all about the exit. and it looks like Mike Leader wasn't quite able to get the launch that Colin Denner did.
Yeah, certainly in the draft, we'll be having a little bit of an impact on these cars as well. I am certainly starting to remember this track a little bit more now, having driven it in a Formula V. And it's fair to say, if you caught the curb in one of those, you pretty much went airborne, ladies and gentlemen. As right now, Leader much hotter on the brakes, but you got to wonder, is Cooper Van Horn trying to back Denner up into the not a dentist Leader?
Maybe. Keeping an eye on lap times, Cooper Van Horn has the fastest personal best out of this group, 1 minute 30.5. Denner and Leader have both done 1:30.6s as their fastest times, but you can clearly see they are very closely matched at the moment. Denner and Leader, their lap times last lap were only 0.02 of a second apart.
Absolutely incredible stuff here between these three drivers. The hottest battle going on right now, but indeed it looks like it's one of multiple, ladies and gentlemen. Jake King, Anthony Montello, and indeed Reed Shannonbrook still going at it as well. Further back, the other Montello brother, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Montello. Now, he did get caught in an incident earlier and is the only McLaren here in the field. He is starting to chase down Will Long, 1.1 seconds in that gap as well.
And Montello, one of the cars involved in that lap 1 incident at turn 3. So he managed to escape that and has been steadily working his way back up the field. Denner, once again, that launch in the Mercedes. It's a very good car on power, is the Mercedes. You can get on it quite early, and braking, I think, is another matter entirely. It seems that Denner is making up some ground in the braking zones, but Leader seems to be much more confident on the brakes. I think there's two sides to that, though. Yes, the BMW is making up time on the way into the corners, as you can see. It's right up the sniffer of Colin Denner at the apex of the corner. But Denner is taking it easier into the corners so that he can get on the power earlier and straighter, and that is benefiting him in the long run. Every time Leader makes a gain, Colin Denner gets it right back.
Certainly, for a second there, I thought Mike, not the dentist Leader, was indeed a proctologist, or indeed a man who needed to take somebody's temperature. Indeed, that AMG was very much getting a close examination there as they made their way through the latter part of the track. But right now, these three, they're running nose to tail, but not yet been able to make any moves done. Are we seeing a little bit of strategy here from these drivers? Are they trying to pull away of the pack that is Anthony Montello and Jake King further back behind them? Or are we going to see a scrap there as Colin Denner there puts a nose out? I have a feeling we're playing a little bit of the mind punt techniques, ladies and gentlemen, just trying to occupy the driver's mind ahead.
Oh, lap car ahead, that's Sean Condon, who they've come up upon, and it looks like they'll all make it out of the corner reasonably well. Condon's going to move over and let them go here down the straight. Could be a little bit of free slipstream for Colin Denner. Let's see how this works out for them. It seems in the short term a little bit of a gap made up by Cooper Van Horn, but Denner's making up ground in the braking zone here. Potentially, Denner might be a bit more concerned with Leader behind at the moment, especially in this twistier part of the circuit where the BMW seems to have a slight advantage over the Mercedes, at least on corner entry.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, Reese. It's been very much, we're seeing Mike Leader. He is he could almost pull the parachute for him, is the driver of the number 73 car. But further back as well, Jake King still very much going at it now, and it looks like Reed Shannonbrook's been able to get a little bit closer as well in that red Cayman.
Yes, so it's been a bit of a calm in this battle. It's the eye of the storm, so to speak. They've gone through the first part of those hurricane force winds, and now we're waiting for them to come back for round 2. So Shannonbrook, with just under 12 minutes to go, will find 8 laps to go around mid-Ohio. These races always seem like they're over way too fast. I mean, 30 minutes isn't nothing, but it is quite a short race for these cars. It means that you need to make those moves count as they come up on Sean Condon now, and it seems that Shannonbrook has had timing not fall his way. He will unfortunately have to take some alternate lines to get around Sean Condon there, and he has officially lost touch with Montello and King.
Yeah, that's definitely not what he wanted to see, but further up, it's exactly what we want to see, ladies and gentlemen, as Cooper Van Horn is still having to go on the defensive here. Colin Denner, I believe he's not the hard charger, ladies and gentlemen, but he is pretty high up in that rank. And what a move there by Denner. Are we going to see a freeway fight? We've seen it earlier on, but albeit from a different set of drivers now. As leader, we know he's hot in the braking. This could be absolutely fantastic now as Cooper Van Horn. The defensive game has been on point, but he has certainly crumbled, ladies and gentlemen, as leader makes his way past. Denner makes his way past. Are we going to see the recovery here from Cooper Van Horn?
Oh man, 2 positions down, and the fight now comes one between leader and Denner only for the last position in the top 5. Colin Denner making the move in a classic Mid-Ohio fashion. It looks like Van Horn ran a bit deep in the braking zone there, and Denner was right there to take advantage. Yes, ran wide there, but the outside line for that corner becomes the inside for the next one, and Denner took great advantage of that. A little tap for Van Horn, sending him off into the grass ever so slightly, but it compromised him enough to allow Mike Leader by as well. That is how battles often work out at this circuit.
Yeah, certainly, definitely was a epic battle here, but it looks like Mike Leader is still very much in pursuit here, ladies and gentlemen. The Listerine car, I got to admit, Cairo ends. What a comment from him in the chat. Reese, sit down for this one. I thought Listerine was meant to go in the other end.
That was a bad time to take a sip of coffee.
Yep. Swallow it, buddy.
Well
Swallow
done
it.
Yeah, well done to Cairo. That was nicely done. Well, let's see how fresh the moves are for Mike Leader. Michael Montello finds his way up to Will Long right in time for getting up to Sean Condon. That's Jack Chrissy, I think, that's gone off into the grass there. Still side by side between Montello and Long, and contact is made. And Will Long gets on the brakes instantly to allow Montello to recover. Good bit of sportsmanship there. Unfortunately, that has cost them both a few positions, and Montello is right back to 5 places down from where he started, and I don't think he has enough time to get back up to where he was now. Back to the battle between Jake King and Reed Shannabrook, as it would appear that
I'm pretty sure Montello was ahead of that.
Yeah, something's gone on in this battle. There's been a move. There's been passes, and Shannabrook is a lot closer now. I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. We might have to find it. So Jake King was ahead. It was a very nice move from the Mustang. A big dive up the inside. It was very similar to what Colin Denner did. A bit of side-by-side through this section. Managed to just avoid contact. Jake King trying his best to work his way past Anthony Montello there. It looks like that's where the move was made. Montello was making great use of the Porsche Cayman's agility there, but Jake King seems a bit more confident at that. But how did Montello fall behind Shannabrook?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it here, Reese.
Well, we shall see. Reed Shannabrook has found his way into 9th place out of this one, and he's looking pacey in these late stages of the race, honestly. So it looks like it happened. Oh, it was at the keyhole, a little bit deep there for Anthony Montello. And it looked like a pretty simple move from there for Reed Shannabrook. Got to be careful when you get on the brakes at Mid-Ohio. As I was saying, Shannabrook is looking really good in these late stages. 5 laps to go, and he's not far off his personal best, and he's run about 0.07 of a second faster than Jake King on the previous lap. I think Shannabrook was just holding back before and maybe waiting for the opportunity. That, or King and Montello, through their battling, shredded their tires a bit too much.
Yeah, it certainly looks like Jake Enns has just joined the chat as well, just as he's, I think he may have spat out his coffee as well there, Reese, so don't feel too alone in that scenario. But right now, it looks like Mike Leader still applying the pressure here. Are we going to see a move on the Haribo machine of Colin Denner?
Leader's been trying to build up to this one for a while, and he sees half a gap open to the inside there. Yeah, the BMW, it seems to work really well in this section of the circuit. It's a bit more of a pointy machine than the Mercedes, which I think most people would class as one of the all-rounder GT4s. It's not it doesn't have the most turn-in, it doesn't have the most oversteer. It's just a solid machine to drive, and I should know because that's my main GT4 car is the Mercedes. But have a look at leader. He's very confident on the brakes there, maybe a bit overconfident. Manages to bring it back in for the real apex of that corner. Have to stick very tight through there, but he ends up losing out on the start-finish straight. Meanwhile, Reed Shadowbrook alongside Jake King, and King defensive into turn 1. Might he wash wide on the exit? No, manages to keep the Mustang in check. Reed Shadowbrook has plenty of opportunities here to get by. What that little bit of side-by-side has done, though, Zippy, is it's brought Anthony Montello back into the fight.
Oh, contact!
Oh, no! And Shadowbrook goes around.
Definitely. You could just see he was just starting to stick a nose in there, just had a little bit of keen inkling, and it just wasn't enough space for him. But let's have a look a little bit further back, actually, as indeed we have a battle going on between Chris Harp and indeed Jarrett Page there. As I say that, Chris Harp absolutely slingshots ahead. More battles, though.
And he does. Oh dear, this is all the way down to the 18th, 19th, and 20th. Tala Sadiq is up ahead here of Thomas Lathrop and Lewis Alessi. Lathrop is trying to make up some positions here. He's down 11 from where he started. He's not had a good night, but we will see if he can keep Lewis Alessi behind him in this battle, once again, of the German cars. The GT4 field, they're very German-dominated. We have Porsche, BMW, and Mercedes all represented here. And I think there's a bit more space between them now. It'll be a little bit longer before Lathrop has a chance to make a move on Alessi there. The fight for P16 between Kevin Zhu and Timothy Homan. Kevin in the Mercedes manages to get the inside line and complete the move there. That's what I love about WDCR. There's racing everywhere you look, and there might be more there because it looked like Kevin went a little bit deep in the third last corner there, and he's gone deep in the penultimate one too. Homan struggling himself with some car balance issues there through the second last corner. But they both get out of it safely, and the battle will continue for another lap.
Well, I gotta say, fair play to Homan, because let's be real, he's rocking 1500 IR. Kevin Zhu near enough 3900 iRacing, ladies and gentlemen. So fair play, Timothy. You are doing an absolutely fantastic job. And remembering Kevin Zhu, actually from the first season of WDCR, we was lucky enough to broadcast, had the M2, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin Zhu was actually quite potent in that as well. As a little bit of connection issues there for the number 4 driver.
Yes, he'll have to fall back behind Kevin Zhu, and let's see if the slipstream is on here. The Mercedes is pretty good on straight line speed, but you give the Cayman some slipstream and it will rocket up to the back of you. It would appear that they'll keep in that order for now. This battle between Colin Denner and Mike Leader has been going on for God knows how long now. And it's been fantastic to watch. Same for the battle for 5th between Colin Denner and Mike Leader. Franz Hansen, same for the battle between Franz Hansen and Ken Housel. Got my battle groups confused there. Housel, it seems, is now struggling with a tiny bit of understeer in that Mustang. He's not quite hitting the apexes the same way that Franz Hansen can. Still worth noting that Housel is up 1 position from where he started, so it's been a profitable night for him, at least in small terms. But they're only going to have 1 lap to go after this one. So now's the time that you want to try and set up a move.
I gotta say, that was a huge amount of closing there in the braking zone from Ken Housel there. Really able to drop the anchor, and that certainly reminds me of a certain move we saw, I think it was on Monday night with an Aston Martin. Absolutely, you could have sworn the thing had a boat anchor on it, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely insane stopping power for some of these GT cars, but definitely braking, one of the things, probably the biggest thing to get right in all of racing, ladies and gentlemen. And certainly by logic, it doesn't really make sense sometimes. You want to almost stamp on the brakes and then bleed it up, but instinctively we want to do the opposite. If we don't start slowing down, we want to put more pressure on. It's There's a lot to it, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, sometimes it's indeed a case of mind over matter. But right now, Ken Housel, he can see the podium ahead of him by about 0.5 of a second. And the number 44, Franz Hansen, standing in the way of that. As we check in again with Mike Leader, who's fallen back a little bit here from Colin Denner.
Yeah, looks like some problems in the final sector there for Mike Leader. The final lap has officially begun for DJ Alessandrini. And now the pressure is on here as Ken Housel is deep into the keyhole there to try his best and get past Franz Hansen for 3rd place. Oh, defensive very early here from Franz Hansen. He's weaving to try and break the draft. He knows that Ken Housel is coming. Let's see if they have anything to work out here in the middle sector of the lap. Alessandrini's gotten away to a lead of 7.5 seconds. Raul Iriarte himself is about 5 seconds ahead of this battle, so there's very little chance of either of these guys getting 2nd place, but it's going to be a 3rd for either of them. And Ken Housel is maximizing every single exit he can, using the Mustang's power to try and launch out of these corners, but it seems the Porsche Cayman is the one to have here at Mid-Ohio, at least if you're Franz Hansen. Meanwhile, DJ Alessandrini through the final corner. Once again, barely any airtime at all, but we're going to give him some as he crosses the line. Another dominant victory, 4 from 4 in the new WDCR season. Raul Iriarte, fantastic drive to 2nd place. It was solid. It was error-free. And it looks like Franz Hansen will win the battle for 3rd with Ken Housel there, though not for a lack of trying on Ken's part. Mike Leader, meanwhile, dropping back a bit further from Colin Denner. That's the battle for the top 5 sorted. Cooper Van Horn beats Jake King to the line, and it looks like Michael Montello might have some company there with Wojtek Hajicek, Wally, across the line in front of him. That's the battle for 13th sorted. And Kevin Zhu and Timothy Homan are still fighting over P16, still within a second of each other, but for the moment, it would appear that Kevin Zhu has the advantage, and yeah, there's barely anything more to say about it. Long way ahead of the Cayman as he comes out of the final corner. Unfortunately, saw a spin in the final laps from Tala Sadiq, so Sadiq fell, oh, okay, interesting.
That was different.
Yeah, Sadiq fell from 18th to 20th. The honour will go to Thomas Lathrop to get 18th position. And with that, we've just got a few more cars left to cross the line. We had the top 20 finishing on the lead lap in this one. And it looks like it's been a rough race for quite a few drivers, including John Holloway here, who is down in 24th at the moment. So,
fair play to him, though. He's up 3 positions. Attaboy. Keep going, John.
Yes, indeed. It's certainly been a bit of a race of attrition at the back here at Mid-Ohio. And I think much like Cadwell Park, there's a few drivers who'll be happy to see the back of this round. Very, very tough and tight tracks being used for the first part of this season. Of course, round 1 at VIR, you did have a bit more space, but the trifecta of Summit Point, Cadwell, and Mid-Ohio, all 3 short, tight tracks filled with incredibly brutal corners. It's been a real test of these drivers' talent.
It very much has, and certainly it's not one of the most popular tracks that we've seen in the iRacing service by any means. It's definitely one of those which is it's enjoyed by some but favorited by few, I think, is probably the best way of doing it. That's probably the best description here. But I tell you what, let's go over the results and then have a chat with Franz Hansen very shortly after. I can see he's already there in the interview booth. Reese, do the honor, sir.
Right, so DJ Alessandrini is 7.5 seconds ahead of Raul Iriarte for the win. Franz Hansen beating Ken Housel to the line. Then it's Denner and Leader in the top 6. Cooper Van Horn winning the battle with Jake King. Anthony Montello finishes in 9th place, with Reed Shannabrook rounding out the top 10. Up 6 positions for Adam Kobach. Jack Chrissy finishes in 12th. Hajicek and Montello 13th and 14th. Will Long rounding out your top 15. Kevin Zhu is your hard charger, up 10 places from where he started. Very good drive, with Timothy Homan finishing just behind. Lathrop, Louis Alessi, and Tala Sadiq round out your top 20 and cars on the lead lap. And it would seem that Cameron Guth, Trenton McMillian, Chris Harp, John Holloway, Jarrett Page, Carl Annunziata, Charles Miller, Sean Condon, and Jason Rode all finish a lap down, with Zach Rubin unfortunately retiring early from this one. The same is true for Chris Heidemann. Christopher Benedetto, it would have been nice to see him take to the start of this one, but we saw nothing from the 119 today. Hopefully next round we can see him in action. But now it's time for driver interviews, and we are joined by Franz Hansen first up. Rounding out the final spot on the podium there, Franz. It is one position down from where you started, but still great to see that you managed to get a podium here at Mid-Ohio. It was a great battle with Ken. It would appear that we do not have Franz Hansen for the moment, so we... okay, we'll bring him back. Do you have us, Franz? We do not. So I think we might have to go to Raul Iriarte, who finishes in second place. There wasn't much catching DJ up the front there, and it seemed like a quiet race from you, Raul. But altogether, Mid-Ohio, you're battling that track as much as the cars around you.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just watching DJ and the relative tense slip away, and the battle was just to keep increasing the gap to Franz. But yeah, managing the tires, hitting your marks, all that stuff. It was great.
Yeah, speaking of the tyres, we didn't really talk much about the tyres in the broadcast. We didn't really have a chance to with all the action going on. Yeah, you really had to look after them around here. It's an oldish scan of Mid-Ohio and a bit of a rough track surface with plenty of high-load corners. So how did you end up tackling it in the Cayman?
Staying out of ABS as much as possible. Being really, really gentle on the brakes into critical corners like China Beach and the second to last corner. Forget the name.
Yeah, the only corner name I remember at this circuit is the Keyhole, which actually is an interesting choice for layout for this circuit. We use the chicane layout. Do you think that provided a little bit of extra challenge there?
A little bit, yeah, because the entry to Keyhole changes. It's much longer. And it's hard to decipher whether you want to sacrifice a little bit of the exit in the chicane or cut distance. So it's a balance.
Well, balance was key to tonight's racing, and you're granted with a second place and a great haul of points for your efforts. Thank you very much for joining us, Raul. Is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
DJ for some coaching.
Excellent. So that worked things out very well for you. That's Raul Iriarte, who finishes in second place today. And we are joined now by DJ Alessandrini. Car change for you this round, DJ. You were a Porsche man, but now it seems the Mustang has called your name.
Yeah, people were saying that the Cayman was OP, so I switched to the Mustang to show that the Cayman is perfectly fine the way it is. It's just more fun to drive. But I will say I kind of fell into a little bit of a rhythm with Mustang, and I was getting some dopamine hits, just the way I was able to carve in and out of corners, and I think I even drooled on myself a little bit. I fell really into the zone on that race. It was a lot of fun.
Looked like you were having a good time out there. We unfortunately we didn't get the chance to look at you much because all the battling was going on behind you. But yeah, interesting to note that the Mustang performs so well here at Mid-Ohio. I mean, I know it's only a newish car, but it would seem that its real strength is at tracks with long straights. A lot of power under the hood of this car. So Mid-Ohio probably required some compromises occasionally.
Honestly, it had a pretty good front end. The diff has a lot of decel lock, so it's locked up when you're slowing down. So you kind of have to make slightly different shapes of the corners to get the diff to get along with what you're trying to do. But once you kind of fell into what the differential wanted, it was actually like a huge joy to drive. It was actually a really, really, really great time to turn some laps in this thing. I was kind of thinking I was going to be like, oh man, I was having so much more fun in the Cayman, but you know what? I'm going to give the Mustang a try. do some laps in it, and I kind of ended up digging it. I don't think I'll be in it next week, but it was fun.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for demonstrating to us that no matter what car you're in, you are faster than anyone in this league at the moment. That's 4 wins from 4 races at the start of the new season. And, well, we got the special event next week, and then we go back to our regularly scheduled programming. So hopefully we'll see you again next week, DJ.
Yeah, well, hopefully Diego is there. I'm saying this just so I can clip it and send it to him because I want Diego here. Diego, where you at? All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right, thanks very much for joining us, DJ. That's DJ Alessandrini, there, winner of the race here today. And hopefully we'll be able to get the chance to, I don't think we'll be able to get the chance to chat to Franz Hansen there. So I think that's going to... Oh, he has?
Yep.
Oh, give
Zippy,
it a
do we
whirl.
have time?
Yep, later, guys.
Make it quick.
All right, let's go. Franz, do you have us?
I guess not.
Third time lucky, unfortunately not. We do apologize, friends, but we cannot hear you. So it looks like that's going to be time for us to close.
This guy is such a tease.
Oh, man. Hello, Franz. Congratulations on the podium. A great battle with Ken all the way through there.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was probably my most fun and best sim race I've had since I started racing sim. That was awesome.
The Cayman certainly performed well here at Mid-Ohio, so you're certainly going to be hoping that that carries through to future rounds. I don't see any tracks that are similar to Mid-Ohio until we get to Sonoma. Do you think that there's other tracks on the schedule that will suit you better?
I think Suzuka with all the back S's would be good for me in the Cayman. I'll stick with the Cayman. Sonoma, I've never raced before. This was my first race ever at Mid-Ohio too. I just downloaded the track for this race, so
wow.
I ended up liking this track. Sonoma, we'll see.
Excellent stuff. Well, good to know that despite being very new to this place, you've managed to maximize it pretty well, friends. Congratulations on the podium, and we'll see you again next round.
Thanks a lot.
All right, well, with that, it's time to close off the show. We want to thank everybody for tuning in over the course of this live broadcast. If you've caught us on the replay, we appreciate you clicking on this thumbnail. Of course, the next round of the championship is going to be a special event, and we're still not sure of all the details of that, but it will be an interesting one for sure. I'm looking forward to it, as I'm sure Zippy is as well here at Pit Road Productions. I'm Reese Gardner, Daniel Zippy Salmon alongside me in the comms box and producing behind the scenes. Once again, a huge thanks to all the partners and supporters of the Washington DC Region SCCA chapter. This has been the WDCR SCCA Virtual Racing League Round 4 at Mid-Ohio. Can anyone stop DJ Alessandrini? It seems even the car he drives is not enough to topple him from the top. We'll see.